At this moment in time as well, I didn't know that my mum was ill. So I was just like, what? This is so random. Like, why are we in this really countrified village, like in the middle of nowhere? Like, where are we? What are we doing? Right, so good evening people of Earth. I hope you're doing well. This is a story time for you. I've got like 10 story time ideas. This video today is, if you can't tell from the title, it's all about me having to go to 5 schools by the age of 11 or 12. That's like almost like a school a year, or maybe like a school every other year. So, I probably went to my first school when I was 5. I think it's 5, isn't it? You go to school. Well, it was then anyway. And it was a little school called Wesley Primary School. I was there from, I think it must have been reception to like year 2. Sorry, I'm just trying to just wrap my head around my life. I did actually quite like it, mainly because like everyone had a responsibility in the class, and my responsibility was looking after and cleaning the whiteboards. Remember those whiteboards you used to get in primary school where they were like quite flimsy and they had those just small sponges and the small pens like that? That was my job, to make sure all of them are looked after, and if a pen was missing, I would go absolutely insane. Because first of all, I didn't want to get told off, and then secondly, it's just really going against my OCD. So at the time, obviously, I didn't know about that kind of thing. But give me your pens, bitches. So yeah, you know, being a 5-year-old, just relaxing, enjoying life, it was great. There was this time where the school shut because of snow, and I was like, oh my god, everyone was getting picked up one by one, and I was just sitting there waiting. I was like, oh my god, how is my mum gonna know that the school's closed? Like, I don't think, would they have rung her? Like, I don't know. Is she listening to the radio? I ain't got a clue, so I'm just gonna have to sit here. And I was like, please pick me up, because I don't want to do a full day of school on my own. I don't want to do a full day of school anyway, mother. So come and get me, please. And then, lo and behold, she did turn up. Her excuse was that she was watching Big Brother live while she was doing the ironing. So, yeah, so Big Brother came before me that day, unfortunately. But, you know, who can blame you? Who can blame her? Big Brother's an excellent TV show. But I don't think it's actually, I think it's gone now. I think the game is over. So then, one day, me and my sister go to, well, my parents take me and my sister to this little cafe. And she was like, right guys, so we're going to be moving to Spain. I was like, okay. Alright, well, you know, I'm like 5, 6, and I don't have any responsibilities or anything tying me down here, so why not? Let's go to fucking Spain. My sister, on the other hand, didn't take it too well. She was like, well, what about my friends? What about my school? Like, what? She's like, we can start fresh, can't you? You can make new friends. You can even learn Spanish, and you come back and you'd be like fluent in Spanish and things like that. And she wasn't having any of it. I think she pulled a little bit of a strop then. But it came to it. I remember leaving, and we had the dogs. Dogs went on the plane, which my mum and everyone, my mum mostly though, was like really panicking about. She was like, oh my god, I really hope they just make it to the other end. They don't get lost in baggage or anything like that. So yeah, we flew there, we landed. And yeah, they were in the airport, and the dogs weren't coming out, and we were like, well, are they going to come out on the belt, or are they going to just be in a separate area? Like, how's this going to work? And then it did turn out the dogs arrived, and it was like, hello Oscar, hello Jasmine, we love you so much. And then we moved, we literally just went on to our new house, my new life. I was like, okay, well this is happening, this is great. School was coming around, we had a great summer, and then school suddenly turned up, and I was like, oh Christ, like, this was the catch, I have to go to school here. You know what, I didn't even speak their language. Luckily for me, it wasn't a Spanish school, it was an international school called El Plantío, and it was fucking awful. I did not have a good time there, and neither did my sister. It was just, well, the thing of it was, there was an owner of the school, which I thought was really strange. Like, she lived behind the like primary school, kindergarten, that kind of age their playground, behind their playground, because obviously the school split up and different kids have different playgrounds and stuff like that. Yeah, so me and my friend Roberto, I wonder what he's up to now. Roberto. So me and Roberto were looking through the bushes because you could just see her land, her property, and she was very rich and drove a nice car. I don't think she drove. I think she had a driver. I think. Some mafia shit, I don't know. Yeah, but I tell you something, she was horrible. She was never horrible to me. She actually called me cute. Thank you. But that was because I made fucking sure that I was not going to be told off, because if I was on the other end of her wrath, then I would have just broke down and cried, because I'm very sensitive. I was very sensitive back then. Like I was 5, like give me a break. So at lunchtime we had to, I tell you the most common reason why people got told off is because they didn't bring their little pinny, their little apron to lunch with them. So everyone had school dinners, no one had packed lunch, it's not a thing out there apparently. Spanish do love their bocadillas, which is obviously sandwiches in Spanish, but I tell you something, I didn't have one fucking sandwich being there. I tell you what I did have, I had lentil soup, and then when you're done with that you have to put your hand in the air and do like second round of something else, whether that would be a dessert or something. But no, we didn't get dessert, we got a glass of milk. And I'm lactose intolerant. I couldn't say anything. So I just had to suffer. I was like, alright, I'll drink this. I felt like I was in prison, honestly. So anyway, yeah, these aprons. If you forgot your apron, oh my Christ, it was like a death sentence. It was like, you're on your way to death row, mate. So I remember coming out of the dinner hall, and there was just loads of people just lined up, just next to each other outside like the headmaster's office. And yeah, they were all sitting there and they all had no pennies on. And there was me with my penny. Like, where is that? I wonder where that went. Yeah, so anyway, I was just like, oh shit. And then she came in and she started shouting at all of them. And oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life. It was deep, it was bassy. She had a bassy voice and it just echoed around the whole room. And everyone was just like, what? That was me like, She just made me feel very uncomfortable, very on edge. Like if I was to come out of my classroom to go to the toilet, it would be like an obstacle course, like mission, gotta get there and back in time in case she sees me, because she didn't really like people in the hallway for some reason. But you know, when you gotta go to the toilet, you gotta go, nature calls, darling. There was even times where me and my sister used to pretend to be ill so we could go home. Like there was this one time I went down to the office and I was about to go to the office. I walked through the door and my sister's already there. She's like, oh, I don't feel well. And I was like, oh, neither do I. She's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, I've got a tummy bug. She was like, oh my God, so have I. I was like, I'm sure it's something I must have eaten or something. Can we go home? But the only thing about that is because we did that quite a lot. And if we weren't there at the same time and my mum had already come and picked one of us up, she wouldn't come back again. So I was like, so if one of us is gone, then the other one just has to stay for the rest of the school day, and that is not cool.
Can I also just mention that during my time at El Plantio, I did actually get a shoe thrown in my face, which I forgot to mention, by a secondary school student. I don't think he meant to do it, but it hurt all the same, and yeah, I went home for it as well.
So then, unfortunately, my mum fell ill, and we had to move back. Well, they actually moved, my sister and my mum actually moved back to England before my dad and I did. My dad and I spent another summer there. I can't remember what we were doing. I think there was like a lease or something on the house, so we had to stay there until it was over. Eventually flew back, and we stayed with my mum and dad, my nan and granddad, and we stayed there for a while. And I didn't really think, I felt like I was just a bit in limbo land. Like I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, where I was living. Like didn't really feel like I had a house, nothing. I was just staying at my nan and granddad's house. So at this moment in time as well, I didn't know that my mum was ill. So I was just like, what? This is so random. Like, why are we in this really countrified village, like in the middle of nowhere? Like, where are we? What are we doing? So it turns out that we ended up living there, and I had to go to school there. Really funny. On the first day of school, to make people like me and stuff, for some reason, I don't know why I did it. Like, it was just a nervous thing, I think. I just told all my new friends at school that my family were the cast of Scooby-Doo, and I was Scooby. And they were like, oh, so who's like Daphne and stuff? And I was like, oh, my sister's Daphne. And I don't even know, that is like a lie. That's a lie. And stupid enough, everyone bloody believed it. I did get caught out though, I have to admit. My nan was picking me up from school and we were walking, and this girl came up to us and she was like, oh my god, it was so lovely to meet you today, Oliver. I was like, oh, yeah, she's confident. And then she was like, oh, it's so cool that your family are the cast of Scooby-Doo. And I went, shit. And my nan was like, what? She's like, yeah, they told us that, you know, your family are the cast of Scooby-Doo, which is really awesome. And I was like, oh god. And she was like, no, that's not true. And I was like, Nan, God, come on, stick up for me. But no, it wasn't true. So yeah, I got ratted out. That was that school. That school was fine. I met my best friend, who's like now just kind of like just a brother now, James. I met him there, and just fell in love with his family and stuff like that. It was just amazing. I still see them now. There's actually a vlog from like 2 years ago when we went on holiday together. That's on there, so you can look at that if you want to. So then unfortunately my mum passed away, and which was the December, and then we ended up moving. I think it was at the start of summer, because I remember moving into the house when we moved back to Essex. So after Lincolnshire we moved back to Essex, and it was like spent a whole summer just, you know, being in this new house, being surrounded by like old family friends and stuff like that, which was really awesome. And then once again, school was on its way, and I was like, oh, here we go, another year, another school. So I got nothing to worry about. I did contest though. I was like, Dad, how could you put me in a school that has a blue uniform? Like, I wanted to wear a green uniform. Who says that? But I think that it was because I wanted to just be with my friends. So for some reason I used the colour of the uniform as a good way to be like, persuade my dad to let me go to this other school. But no, he didn't have any of it, and I, you know, ended up starting there. And I was there until I finished my primary school days. So I was there from year 4 to it finished, so year 6. So by the time I finished, I was 11. Finally was used to life, I adjusted, made some friends, and then it was like, well, okay, now it's time for big school. Let's throw big school in your face. I was like, oh God, another change, but this is like a different change, because I've got to like be grown up now. I got to get my shit together. So yeah, I went to Greenswood Academy, and yeah, and that's where I spent those 5 years of secondary school, high school. It was weird because at the time I didn't feel like I was being pulled around and things like that. Like, I didn't see it as unfair or anything like that. I just saw it as, alright, okay, well, let's do it. Let's go, let's do it. I didn't really have a choice in the matter anyway. But yeah, I was just kind of like, alright, well, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. I think that's why I'm pretty good when it comes to change. I mean, as much as sometimes I don't like change, it's inevitable, change is inevitable, so you kind of just be like, alright, okay, I'll just get on with it, throw myself into it, everything happens for a reason, I'm here for a reason, here I am, let's do it. Overall, having to go to all these like different schools and stuff shaped me to who I am today, and that's as simple as that really. But that kind of part of my life's over now, and now I'm unfortunately an adult and I have to do adult things. I wish I could say, comment down below how many schools have you been to, things like that, but I can't because there's no comments available. But if you have got this far to the video, then well done. You can tell me how many schools you've been to over Twitter, so yeah, you know, at OliverVlogss. And yeah, and I'll have a look at them and I'll reply to them, and the people that you know, send me telling me how many schools they've been to and stuff like that, I will follow some of you back. So make sure you do that. Okay, that's all from me, and I love you all so much, and I shall see you all very, very, very goddamn soon. Love you all. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.